Good morning. Okay, you guys. First off, sorry how I'm looking today. I literally woke up like an hour and a half ago, have not brushed my hair yet, have not gotten dressed, have not even brushed my teeth, but you know, I have been enjoying my morning coffee. So there's that. I'll be awake soon. I couldn't sleep last night because I keep thinking about A Court of Silver Flames. There was something about it that kept bugging me, like it reminded me of something else. And so finally, I started thinking about the cursed objects that Nesta had power over. So the harp, the crown, and the mask. All three objects have unknown origins. They're just extremely powerful from some kind of ancient creator. With the harp, it has the ability to open any doorway, whether that's in their world or into another world. It reminded me of something else, and so I kept thinking about the word gates in Throne of Glass. Because the word gates were the same kind of dark and mysterious, unknown origin, but really powerful portals really into other worlds. And that got me thinking about a scene that I will never forget. I couldn't remember what book it was from, but I looked it up. But it's the scene where Aelin is falling through different worlds, trying to get back to her own world. And there was one world she passed through where she was like waving at a couple of Fae that were outside or like trying to get their attention before like passing through that world and moving on. It ended up being a scene from Kingdom of Ash. I think it's chapter 99 or something. You guys, that scene in A Court of Silver Flames finally came full circle for me. I'm going to throw the words up on the screen and read them aloud, that scene from Kingdom of Ash, but first off, I'm an idiot because it took me this long to realize that A Court of Thorns and Roses and Throne of Glass were the same universe, just different worlds. But for all of the naysayers that hated the pregnancy storyline in A Court of Silver Flames, it isn't something that Sarah J Maas just threw out there to happen. This is something that she planned for years to happen, and it finally came full circle, and it was done so well. It just made A Court of Silver Flames that much more special to me after reading it. So I just had to share. When I get dressed and stuff, I will do like a Barnes & Noble exclusive edition closer look at the bonus scene, just in case you're curious and haven't really settled on which edition of the book you want to buy, whether it's just a plain Amazon copy or Barnes & Noble or Books A Million or something. So hopefully it'll give you a better informed decision to make if you decide to buy a physical copy. Yeah, so let's check out the excerpt right now.
She passed through a world of snow-capped mountains under shining stars. Passed over one of those mountains where a winged male stood beside a heavily pregnant female, gazing at those very stars, Fae. They were Fae, but this was not her world. She flung out a hand as if she might signal them, as if they might somehow help her when she was nothing but an invisible speck of power. The winged male, beautiful beyond reason, snapped his head toward her as she arced across the starry sky. He lifted a hand as if in greeting. A blast of dark power, like a gentle summer night, slammed into her. Not to attack, but to slow her down. A wall, a shield that she tore and plunged through. But it slowed her. That winged male's power slowed her, just enough. Aelin vanished from his world without a whisper.
Woohoo! I'm dressed now. It's like magic. I hope you enjoyed that reading from Kingdom of Ash, which is the last book in the Throne of Glass series. So as you can see, I think that came out 2.5 years ago. Even back then, Sarah J Maas had an idea of where she was taking the A Court of Thorns and Roses series with Rhys and Feyre. So I love that. So when you're thinking about it, it's so cool because in A Court of Silver Flames, Feyre gives birth to the baby. She has the baby. So that scene from Kingdom of Ash takes place during A Court of Thorns and Roses. Court of Silver Flames is only from Castian and Nesta's point of view, so we really don't see Feyre or Rhys standing outside looking up at the stars and seeing Aelin flying across their world, but it still was one of those moments in reading the book, like in retrospect, that it just gives you chills and it's really, really cool. Another thing that I stumbled upon when revisiting Kingdom of Ash was the little quote that gives a teaser of House of Earth and Blood, Crescent City. So all 3 of these book series take place in the same universe, and it was so cool. So I'm going to throw the quote on screen that alludes to Crescent City.
She passed through a world where a great city had been built along the curve of a river, the buildings impossibly tall and glimmering with lights.
It's just really cool to me when authors are planning ahead in various series that they work on in books and sprinkle in these little breadcrumbs as they write. Moving on to the next segment, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. This is only my 2nd time ever pre-ordering a book through Barnes & Noble, and so far I'm 0 for 2. Like, I am not having a good experience with Barnes & Noble pre-orders whatsoever. At least with Amazon, in my experience, when I pre-order a book, I do get it on release day. Granted, it's like the late afternoon or early evening, but at least I get the book on release day. And Amazon has always shipped it out like 2 days before the release day so that it gets here on time. Barnes & Noble, even though they ship it out 2 days before, same as Amazon, it still gets here like 5 or 6 days late. And it drives me nuts because you can't really avoid all social media and you're going to see spoilers. Rather than wait for me to get my physical book, I always crack and buy an ebook or try and find a library copy, which never happens because it's a release for someone like Sarah J Maas. So there's going to be several months of waiting on a list if you're trying to get your hands on a free copy of the ebook. So I cracked and bought the ebook on release day, and I was able to read it like before I ever got the book. So that sucks. Even though I get the book in pristine condition, I just don't know if I'll pre-order through Barnes & Noble again. I don't know. Maybe not in wintertime, too many factors. Yeah, we'll see. But with the release of A Court of Silver Flames, there were different bonus chapters that you could get depending on where you pre-ordered. So Books A Million offered an Azriel point of view, and then Barnes & Noble Waterstones, they offered a Feyre point of view. I wanted to see more Feyre just because I was curious how our girl was doing. After getting my hands on the Azriel content, it just made me love him so much more, and you gain so many insights on what he's thinking about Aelin and Gwyn, and just how he views himself as being scarred and ugly and unworthy of someone as pure and innocent as Aelin, and it's absolutely heartbreaking. Azriel has moved up to one of my favorite characters in the series. So I did get the Barnes & Noble edition, and it was Feyre's point of view, and it was basically a scene where her and Rhys are making love and they're just talking about the baby and naming him, and there's still this big mystery on what Rhysand's surname is, his last name, and it just leads me to believe it's a situation kind of like in Throne of Glass with Lord Loken, I think is how you said his name, but it was like a ridiculous alliteration. So I'm kind of thinking that Rhys has a situation like that with his name, and that's why he won't, talk about what his surname is. There was just a lot of conversation about how Feyre came up with Nyx, and how for Nyx's middle name, they're gonna go with Feyre's father's name. So now I'm just like, okay, well, what is her father's name? I can't honestly recall. If it has been mentioned, comment below and tell me what his name is, because I'm too lazy to go look that up. Yeah, so for this segment, I just want to give you a really quick close-up of just the condition this edition came to my house in, and show you how long the extra Feyre content is. If for some reason you don't have the Feyre content, hit me up in a comment and I can share what that extra content is so you can see what that scene was. Not gonna lie, it didn't really help me like Rhys. Just how he handled the whole situation of keeping it a secret from Feyre about how there was a strong possibility that she was going to die along with the baby when it came time to give birth. It was just, he went about it the wrong way, and he used his power and influence over everyone to just close their lips about it. Good on Nesta to just tell Feyre the truth. I don't know. It was an okay scene. It does make me wonder about things like the names for Rhys's last name and Nyx's middle name, but that's about it. All right, let's take a look. All right, so right now we're just taking a look at the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition of A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J Maas. There was the gold exclusive edition sticker right here, which I carefully lifted up the edge of it and then slowly peeled it away without using anything, and it came right off and didn't leave any kind of residue. So that was good, because I hate stickers on my books. In person, this book is so luxe and it's so beautiful. I mentioned in a previous video, which I'll link in the screen, on Wings and Ruin, which was actually a bigger book than Mist and Fury. They changed the paperweight of each of the pages in that book. So even though Wings and Ruin was a bigger book than Mist and Fury was a physically bigger book because the pages were thicker, if that makes sense. Margins didn't change, font and size didn't change. They just changed the paperweight for the pages. Otherwise, this book right here, which is bigger than all of the books, it would have been ridiculously enormous to carry around. So they did make these a little bit thinner. They're not quite as thin as the Crescent City books, which to me, those pages feel kind of like the Bible. So they're thinner, but they're not that thin. But I don't know if this is going to be a side character point of view type of thing, but with this book, you get this fancy pattern in the front, and then everything else is the same as the other books. So it's just a really beautiful edition. Here at the end, in the Barnes & Noble, you have the extra bonus content following Sarah's acknowledgements page. So you have this, I think it's like not even 9 pages of extra content. So it's a pretty book. I like it. The Happy Pets tattoo artists that did all of this work here, like, it's just so beautiful. They did a great job on it. Love these books. Here they are with the rest of the books in the series, so I couldn't resist getting the hard copy. They're just so beautiful. As I was saying before, even though this book is longer than this book, they changed the paperweight to a slightly thinner page here, which is why it's smaller than this one, which annoys some people. They went back to the thicker page for this book, otherwise this would have been absurdly tiny, and then they used the thinner page for this one again. They're just really pretty. Look how beautiful that is! It's like the Rainbow of Velaris. I love this new look. All about it. Can't recommend the hardcover versions enough. I think the paperbacks are equally lovely in just that kind of theme. I hope that helps if you're in the market for books. I checked online retailers recently and these books are sold out in a lot of places, so I would just keep looking, but it looks like there's supposed to be some print replenishment in March, so you should be able to get copies by then if you haven't been able to get one recently. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. All right, that is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed all of that. Have a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye.